Wait, so we're going to present how air migration affects the environment, and we have two main case studies, one about Delta and the other one about Emirates. I'm going to now present the case study in Dubai. It has a population of around 2.7 million people. It is one of the fastest growing cities in the whole world. It has a lot of disparities between class, because there's like a very high income people and there are like very low income people. Then we also have that it has a very low rate of crime, between 0 and 5%. Its population is based on about 50% Indians, 17% Emirates, and the rest of it are immigrants. And it has a pollution index of around 55%, because it may not have that much of a pollution, but as there's many dust, sandstorms, and windstorms, their pollution is like trapped and it is concentrated, so it is more as a result.
Dubai International Airport is one of the largest airports in the world, and it's located in the northeastern from the city of Dubai. It's the world's biggest airport by international passenger traffic. It's the third busiest airport in the world, 6th by cargo, and it's the busiest also for the Airbus A380 and Boeing 777. It handles over 83 million passengers per year, and it's spread over 3,000 hectares of land. And in the Middle East, it's the largest hub for airlines, and it's the main hub for Emirates Airlines. To show the amount of air travel, this is a video of flights around the Middle East. These are the flight paths over the Middle East, especially Dubai and Doha, Qatar, which are two of the main hubs for airlines, especially Abu Dhabi, Doha, and Dubai, which have a large population and have many flights coming from there.
Now we're going to talk about Emirates. Emirates is the first choice airline in the United Arab Emirates, as it's a really good one. And it is a pretty new airline, as it is 32 years old, and its fleet age is of 6 years. And so these new airplanes have new technology and are fuel efficient, as they produce less noise and burn less fuel. I'm going to show a video about this 777, which is a long-distance airplane for Emirates. It produces less noise than older airplanes, and now we're going to show how it produces. Okay, the video is not showing, so the video was going to show the 777 landing and takeoff in Dubai International Airport. As I said before, it's an airplane that consumes less fuel than older ones and produces less noise and burns less fuel. Okay, the hub of Emirates is Dubai International Airport, and the Emirates, Dubai, as we said before, has a lot of immigrants, and a lot of these immigrants usually fly Emirates. And it has the airport of Dubai has around 500 operations per day, which most of them are from Emirates. And then, as I said before, these airplanes consume less fuel and are more efficient than the older ones, which have another airlines like Delta.
Now I'm going to talk about Atlanta. As we can see from the graph, Atlanta is located at the southeast of America in the state of Georgia. It has a population of around 450,000 people. It is considered one of America's most populated city, and it is also considered to be one of the most polluted cities. It has 21,000 tons of environmental waste, and city's combination of air pollution and atmospheric chemicals make it again one of the most polluted cities. It has a pollution index of around 54.
Now we're going to talk about Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. It's the international airport for Atlanta, and it's the hub for Delta Airlines. It's located in the southwest of Atlanta, and it's around 2 hours flight time from over 200 million people in all of the United States. Today it's the biggest airport in the world, and it's been one of the busiest since 2012. It accommodates over 100 million passengers per year, around 265,000 daily, and 950,000 flights a year. It's also a major hub not only for Delta but Southeastern Airlines, or Southwestern, Delta Airlines, Southwest, Spirit, and Frontier, and it has over 207 international and domestic gates. This is a video to show how busy the Atlanta International Airport is. It accommodates not only flights from all over the United States, but also internationally.
Now we're going to talk about Delta. Delta is a pretty old airline. It is 92 years old and has a fleet of over 900 airplanes. As my colleague said before, its hub is located in Atlanta, and the fleet age of this airline is of 17 years. So this means that the airplanes are pretty old, which means that they burn more fuel than the ones that are flying now, and more noise is produced by them. We're going to show a video of an MD-80, which is an airplane that Delta uses regularly and daily, which burn a lot of fuel and produces a lot of noise. There the airplane is taking off, and as you may hear, it is producing a lot of noise, more than the airplanes that are newer. And if you can see, there's a lot of dust left behind, as these engines burn a lot of fuel and pollute a lot. These older planes help the whole migration wave, which also contributes to the pollution of the city, as they are older planes. And then there are a lot of migrants that are flying in and out of United States. A lot of them fly Delta, and not all, but most of their flights are destined to go to Atlanta, as it is the hub. And with over 1,000 daily operations, there are a lot of fuel is burned and a lot of noise is produced.
How is low-cost air travel used as migration? Air travel is used as migration as they have a great capacity to move massive amount of people for long distances, and it has as they are low cost, they have a cheaper cost, so people who can afford the great price. Some examples are China Southern Airlines Dubai Beijing, that they are 3,600 miles, one stop round trip for $545, and AirAsia Manila Hong Kong 1,400 kilometers, non-stop round trip for $200. As some migrants can afford great prices because they don't have so much money, they are the low cost who can move from long distances without paying so much prices.
Then we're going to talk about the pollution, the average of what airplanes consume. So first, we're going to talk about the 747, which is one of the main long-distance route airplane chosen by Delta. This airplane consumes 10,500 kilograms of fuel per hour. And then we have the Boeing 777, which is the long-distance route airplane for Emirates. This one consumes about 8,000 kilograms of fuel per hour. And then these airplanes obviously burn CO2, carbon dioxide. The 747, the one of Delta, produces 90 kilograms per hour of CO2, and the 777, which is the one of Emirates, consumes 60 kilograms of CO2 per hour. And although the size difference as the Boeing 777 is much smaller, and carries less people, it flies further and flies more efficient.
To show the difference the difference impact on the environment of both airplanes and cars, we have an example of a trip done in a Ford Focus and a Delta airplane.
Yes. Delta also has the 777, but it uses them much less as they have they don't have a lot of them. We chose a 14-hour flight, which is about 7,500 miles. The Boeing 777 carries about 300 passengers. So, and in the whole 14-hour trip, it consumes 100 gallons per passenger. So this means that if you multiply the 100 gallons times the 300, it will give us the overall fuel burned in the trip, which in this trip is 30,000 gallons of fuel in the whole trip.
And in the same trip done by a Ford Focus, it would also be 7,500 miles. But here, there would only be 2 passengers by car. And so in order to transport the same amount of passengers, we'd have to have 150 Ford Focuses, each one an average of 29.5 miles per gallon. And in order for that to happen, the Ford Focus would consume 254 gallons. That would be by 150 cars, 2 passengers each, and that would be a grand total of around 38,100 gallons, which clearly is more than one trip just by the Delta 777. And in conclusion, traveling by car over a long distance is a lot less environmentally friendly, and it's a lot greener to travel by airplane.
Other advantages is that traveling airplanes are faster than traveling by car, and that they doesn't have some barriers like mountains, river, and they doesn't have traffic such as car. Yes, there is some weight in the airport, but it doesn't compare, and it is cheap and fast for transport of cargo and goods.
Yes,